I don't know about you guys, but to me, nothing turns me on more than a woman's orgasm.
Hi, my name is Monique Ruffin, and welcome to Generation Sex, where we talk about all things intimate, sexy, and hot. Today's show's topic is male sexual pleasure. Welcome my guests, Barry Selby, Carl Stevens, and John Wineland. Thank you for being here, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
First question is male sexual pleasure as simple as we think it is?
I don't think male sexual pleasure is simple. And I think part of that is because of the culture that we live in, the society we live in, which basically teaches men not to feel who they are, not to really be in touch with, what feels good. Mm-hmm. And because of that, we kind of put a wall up, and that carries over into sex.
It also depends on what you're calling pleasure. Because there's physical pleasure,
yes.
Right? Then there's the emotional pleasure, mm-hmm. right? And then there's you want to go deeper, there's the spiritual pleasure of what it's like to connect to another human being. Mm-hmm. So all of those things get intermingled. And so yeah, Carl's right, it's very intricate.
So you're saying that there's so much more to it, that there's the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical component. So Barry, what is the spiritual component of your sexuality?
For me, in a relationship, to have sex just for my own benefit isn't spiritual. Mm-hmm. But have sex and participate with my partner so that she has the most experiential pleasure, that's a more spiritual aspect to look at it because it's inclusive. And it's that joy of sharing the journey because, frankly, in some relationships, I was having more pleasure watching her come than I was having myself at times.
Absolutely.
Because so much joy in that.
I don't know about you guys, but to me, nothing turns me on more than a woman's orgasm. I breathe it in, my whole body gets charged. I mean, that's where I get energy in sex, is the way that you come, right? And so I'm gonna get a lot more juice out of your orgasm than I will mine.
In our culture as a woman, for me, it's always about how to keep your man, how to satisfy him, how to keep your man sexually happy. And you're saying that it's exactly the opposite.
Frankly, yes. Because the thing is also about how to keep a man isn't just about the bedroom.
Right.
And for me, when I talk about that in a relationship, sex is also wherever you are with each other, because sex is not just about being naked in bed together, one thing doing something to somebody else, literally. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's about the way you interplay. It's the intimacy and also the foreplay that happens when you look across the room at each other, when you're outside somewhere at a restaurant, or when you're doing breakfast at home.
What would you tell a woman? What kind of advice would you give to a woman to help her get in contact with this center that you're talking about, so that she can really bring this energy to the sexual experience that you say that you need, or that's so important?
Women, and for the first time in history, are taking roles that require them to be goal setters, go-getters, to kick ass in the office and then come home, and they're wearing that cloak in their body. And so they're in their heads, right? So finding your way back into your heart with what turns you on, what creates love, a bubble bath, a glass of wine, chocolate, whatever gives you pleasure is the first step to sort of embodying, just embodying who you really are.
What is it that you know now about male sexual pleasure that you didn't know when you were 25 or 30?
One thing? The gamut.
Well, just give me the best of it.
The best thing I'd say is really to start trusting yourself.
When we're young, we fantasize, stimulate, ejaculate. I've had to retrain myself to breathe, to circulate sexual energy through my body, to focus on you sort of more than myself, and also the bigger picture.
All my job is to do is not to be a player and figure out how to play the game, but more to just be who I am as a man and allow myself to be honored in that or chosen in that as a partner, and everything would fall in line.
That is completely different information than we have always heard. As a woman, I have always felt that men do the choosing. Right. And you're saying that that is absolutely not the truth at all.
No, and a lot of the issues that we see in relationships come about because that paradigm is reversed.
Right. Yeah. Men have been taught that we run the show because we're in a society that doesn't support the feminine.
Right, and we have been taught that we are performers in your show. You guys run the show, and we're lucky.
Well,
we're lucky to have a man.
But Monique, let's be clear about this. If you weren't there wouldn't be a show. So you get to control this. You run the show. We literally.
Well, this information is priceless. Thank you so much for being with me today. I cannot really tell you how much I appreciate your information. So thank you for being here. Thank you, folks. This is Generation Sex, and we'll see you next time.